Stampers, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you for our Thursday night live. And I'm so excited to share with you tonight the Flowering Field Suite. I don't know what it is about the suite, but as soon as I saw it, I just knew I had to get it. I just loved the tulips. I loved all the different bits and pieces. The designer series paper, that's gorgeous. The brass butterflies. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work with this tonight. And we're going to do two different cards. One is sort of a simple stamping card, but we're going to use the Stamparatus because we've got some two-step stamping going on. And then we're really just going to focus on the tulip fields and these gorgeous windmill dies. So let me show you kind of what comes with the suite. So it comes with the flowering tulips and the matching dies. Now these dies I'm not going to use tonight because they're quite involved, and I'm going to save these for like a live at lunch to show you how to put those tulips together. But what I've kind of found out is that there's really not a right way to do the flowers. They can kind of mix and match. So we'll work on that on Tuesday. The other part is the Tulip Fields bundle, which comes with these gorgeous dies. And I love making the tulip fields, and I think I have a picture of a card. I'll have to put it up on my Facebook so you guys can see it. And then it comes with these dies, and these are the dies we're going to work with tonight, the windmill dies. Let me show you what comes in that. So it's got 15 dies. It's got the actual windmill, so you can have the solid windmill and then the overlay piece, and of course the arms. It's got a mini windmill to match one of the stamps in there. It doesn't show, but there is this, oh, there it is, the mini windmill stamp. It's got a couple of trees. These are like supposed to be like far on the horizon. It's got these great tulips that you can cut and kind of layer up to get different colors of tulips. And I thought there was an example in the catalog, but maybe not. Then it's got a bicycle. It's got a couple of clouds. It's got like a double fence post and a single one. And there are 3 of these little dies, these single fence post dies. So those are all the dies that come with it. And we're mostly going to work with the windmill dies today. That's what we're going to work with. And then it's got these beautiful brass butterflies, and these are flat. And I like these because since they're flat, you can either use them inside or outside your card. It's got this beautiful evergreen, like window checked ribbon, window pane ribbon. Isn't that pretty? And then this designer series paper, which again, I love our papers. Let me show it to you. And I'll tell you some of the colors. So we've got Coral Calypso, Evening Evergreen, as we said, Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, look at those clouds, pretty. Mango Melody, Pear Pizzazz, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, Rich Razzleberry, Soft Succulent, and So Saffron. But just look at how gorgeous these papers are. I really think that you can do a lot with them. You know, not just for spring, you know, Mother's Day is coming up, birthdays, you can use this gorgeous 12 by 12. You could just make like a shadow box with that. Put a windmill in there. Love these colors. Love them. So let's go ahead and get started on our cards. And our first card, we're going to use our Flowering Tulips stamps. And let me show you. So we're just going to stamp 2 tulips. And I'm already looking forward to Mother's Day. I've already kind of gotten Valentine's Day done. We've got our last Valentine's Day event this Saturday with our Sweet Conversations bingo. But we're going to do a pretty little Mother's Day card. And again, it's so sweet, it's so simple, and it's just a little bit of 2-step stamping. And then we're going to step it up, and we're going to use these windmill dies. And our windmill is actually, it's an easel card, and our windmill actually spins. So how cool is that? These are the brads that are in our annual catalog, and you can make it so that it actually spins. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Patricia, I love the bicycle too. I think it's so cute. Let's go ahead and get started with our first card. I'm just going to add a piece of basic white to the inside. Now, if you want to stamp something on here, I would suggest that you stamp it before you adhere it to the bottom. I'm not going to stamp anything. I'm just going to use this to write a note. So I am going to put it in here. I couldn't find my adhesive for a minute. Sometimes when you hear me rambling, it means I'm kind of looking for something and I'm trying to play it off like I know what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I try, right? I get on here every week and I try. All right, now we have a piece of that gorgeous Designer Series paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to put that on there. The reverse side of this is going to make an appearance in our second card. Okay, we're just going to put that on there. Now I'm going to pull in my Stamparatus, and I've already got some of my pieces lined up. I may need to tweak them just a bit, depending upon how well I line these up. Okay, so we got that. Got that. All right, so I'm going to go and I want to stamp my stems first. So let me, okay, that'll work. I'm going to stamp these an Evening Evergreen, but I don't know if I clean them off. Let me just clean them off really quickly because I don't know. I thought I did, but you know, you can never really be too careful. So let's go ahead and stamp. I don't want to go, you notice I'm not going all the way down on the stamp with the ink because it's going to actually come off my paper a little bit. So I'm going to leave that kind of, that last like 1/4 of an inch without ink on it. All right, I'm going to clean this off because I'm going to turn it and face it the other way. Now this one I'm going to use the whole way up, so I'm going to just kind of lay it like that. And you'll notice I have my leaves on the opposite side. Now, here's a little trick. If you see that your paper's starting to lift up, take your bone folder, stick your bone folder in there and hold down that paper as you pull it up. That'll help keep your paper in position. Learn that the hard way. All right. I'm going to stamp that other stem. There we go. Now I'm going to flip this over. I should have my leaves in the right position, but again, we'll check it before we stamp it. We'll check. Those don't look too clean. Let me just make sure I got all the other. I had started out with Garden Green, and then I think I said I want to switch to Evening Evergreen. I think I might want to move this leaf just a tad. So let's put this one over here. Okay. And maybe I'm going to end up moving both of them just because I can't make up my mind. Can I move it up? Yes. Sorry, Patricia. Yep. There we go. Sorry. Okay. And I just stuck my fingers in the ink pad. This is why I usually don't leave my ink pads open. Hang on. Let's get a baby wipe. Let us move the ink pad out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to slide. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm going to ink up. Oh, my pleasure, Patricia. Thank you for letting me know that it was out of camera range. Okay, so now we're going to stamp it there. Okay, and now we've got our stems and our leaves. Just clean this up real quick. I'm going to put that off to the side. I'm going to close up the green ink before I stick my fingers in it again. Okay. Now, I'm going to make sure, again, these are a little bit off, and I'm going to go this side first. Okay, so let me position these. So I've got like kind of the full open tulip, and that's going to go here. And I've kind of got the little bud, and that's going to go here. Now, whenever you're doing two-step stamping, you always want to stamp your lighter color first. So I'm going to stamp these in Petal Pink. That's going to be my very first color. I'm just going to ink up my stamps. Let me show you. So I'm just going to, here, let me take this off. So I'm just going to ink these up, and I am going to now stamp them. Okay. So now I've got my first color on there. So looks a little bare, but we're going to come back in. We're going to come back in with some Poppy Parade. All right. So we're going to flip that around. Just clean these off these stamps. Now I'm going to line these up. And again, there's sort of no really right way to line these up. I'm really just kind of eyeballing it and hoping that it looks somewhat decent. Hi, Karen. How are you? Thanks for joining us. All right. I'm going to put those on there. And I will be using this suite for my creative retreat that's happening at the end of March. And I plan to get everything up and registration going this weekend. It will be either via Zoom or in person if you're in the Middleburg, Virginia area. It will be $75 and it will include postage if you are coming via Zoom, or it'll include breakfast and lunch if you're going to be in person. It'll include a pack of designer series paper, a bolt of ribbon, a package of gems, and just a whole bunch of other goodies. All right, so now we have our flowers pretty much done. Now you notice this little center looks a little naked, so there's this little tiny stamp. It's kind of like a center stamp. So we're just going to stamp that right in the middle with some Daffodil Delight. Okay. All right. Boom. There we go. So now our flowers are finished. Let's go ahead and take this off. Move all this stuff out of my way. All right, I'm going to pop this onto my card with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I tell you, when I was down here earlier making my sample, everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I was dropping everything. I was just not stamping cleanly. It was just one of those evenings. And I'm like, let's take a breath. Let's reset. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, sometimes, you know, you just get so caught up. All right, so we're just going to stick that right there. Now I'm going to add some of these gorgeous brass butterflies. Okay. And sometimes my placement depends upon whether or not I have like a little bobble on the card. Like on this one, on my sample, I had like a little ink blot there, so that got covered up with the butterfly. So you can hide a multitude of sin with some well-placed ribbons and gems. We're going to take our ribbon. I'm going to tie this into just a little bow. It never fails that when you're doing this live, you know, it just never comes out the first time. Let's hope. Okay. Woo. I kind of make it big, and then I just kind of, like, I just pull it until I sort of get it where I want it. Okay, that's a little too big, that loop. I don't like my loops really big, but I like my bows tight. All right, that looks pretty good, actually. I'm just going to kind of trim these ends a little bit. All right, now I'm going to stick this on right there with like a glue dot, kind of like at the bottom where my stems meet. I'm just going to pick up a glue dot here, if I can see it. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put that there. And then I have just kind of a basic white scrap. It's probably, I don't know, ½ an inch. It's from when I was trimming something. And I'm just going to come in, I'm going to get my Poppy Parade, and I'm going to stamp Happy Mother's Day. Okay, but it's kind of large. I don't want it quite that large. So I'm going to stamp Happy Mother's Day. And then I'm just going to kind of trim it with my scissors. I don't want it to be quite that wide. So sometimes you can just, I mean, you could throw it in your paper trimmer if you want. I didn't think it was that much that I could have to drag out my paper trimmer just for that. And I'm just going to use a couple of mini dimensionals. I'm just going to put these on the back here. Okay. And let's see. All right. And we're just going to put this right there. And now we've got our first card done. I am out of screen. I thought I was in screen, Sheila. I was trying to be in screen. So I will pay better attention to what I am doing. Okay, so there is our first card, our little easy Happy Mother's Day card. Now we're going to work on our easel card. So I've sort of already pre-cut my pieces. So I have here a piece of Petal Pink. This is 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5 1/2, and I scored it at 2 3/4 because that's what's going to create our easel. I have a piece of our basic white for the inside. That's 4 by 5 1/4. I have 2 pieces of our designer series paper that are 4 by like 2 5/8, and those are going to go on the front. Okay, and then we have a piece that is same piece. It was actually just like I just cut it like continuously. This is 4 by 2 1/2, and we're going to go and put that right there. All right, so let me again keep losing my tape. Let me get the insides together. All right, here we go. We're going to put this together. I love this designer series paper. It is so pretty. Okay, so this is my smaller piece. I'm just going to put that right there. And I just thought it helped when the easel was open. I just thought it made it look a little bit prettier. I mean, there's really no reason to do it other than I just thought it looked pretty. So again, you know, you don't have to do it. You could just leave that there. All right, I'm going to save the label and the easel part until after we're done with the front. So I'm going to put this on the bottom below that 2 3/4 fold, and this one's going to go above the 2 3/4 fold, because this way when it's closed, it looks like the sky and the field of flowers. At least that's, to my mind, that's what I was hoping it would look like. But, you know, maybe it doesn't look like that to you. And that's okay. Because when you make your cards, you can have them look however you want. That is the beauty of crafting, is that it can be whatever you want it to be. Thank you, Sheila. That's very nice. How are you feeling? I hope you're feeling good. How are your daughter's wedding invitations coming? I can't wait to see them. So exciting. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and add that. Okay. Now, as you can see, I've pre-cut my windmill. So I've got the body. I cut this out of early espresso, and then out of crumb cake I cut kind of like the overlay, and I cut out. The reason I cut out 2 windmills was because if you want it to spin, you need to layer it up so that it's a little bit thicker, and that will help stabilize it a little bit. So we'll work on that in a minute. Let's go ahead and take this overlay. Now, when you cut this out, you'll see that not all of my pieces came out. When you go to remove the adhesive backing, those pieces should pop out. If not, they'll really, you just stick your finger over them and they come out really pretty easily. See, as I pull it apart, almost all of those came out. So you don't have to stick there and like punch them all out. They'll just come out. But now there's a couple that are stuck. I'm just gonna stick my finger, pull those out. Now, of course, they'll be stuck on my finger forever, but no, we'll get rid of them. Gonna run out of fingers in about 2 seconds. All right, let me just wipe this on a baby wipe and get those off my finger. But now we've got all the cutouts out. So now I'm just gonna go ahead, and because I put that, you know, adhesive backing on there, it makes it a lot easier. I'm telling you, if you're working with these fine dies, you really want to get yourself some of those adhesive sheets. They are a time saver when you're doing things like this. Okay, now, so there's our windmill. Okay, now let's work on, I'm just gonna pull in my silicone mat for a minute. So now I have one that doesn't have the backing. This one I do have to kind of get all the little pieces out of because there's no backing to take it off. So this is the only bad thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing, it's just most of them came out. There's like 1 in each one, so it wasn't a lot. Okay, so we've got our, like what I call our bottom piece. Now we've got our top piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take off this adhesive. And I hope I'm back. Am I back in screen? I'm trying to stay in screen. Sometimes I think I'm in screen because it looks like I am, but I'm a little bit off. Okay. So now this is just a little bit tricky here, but we want to, so I laid the one with the sticky down. I just found it was easier because my hands kept sticking to it. So I just thought it was easier to put that piece down and work with the piece that doesn't have the adhesive. So I just kind of came, and my first thing was to kind of line up that center. Okay. And I mean, if you're just like a hair off, it's not going to matter too tremendously, but you just kind of try to line these up as best as you can. Okay. And that, like I said, that's just going to help stabilize the blades so that they can turn. Okay, so there we go. So that wasn't too bad. That went together. I mean, this one's a little bit off, but close enough. Okay, so now in our annual catalog, we have these little round and square brads. They're black and white, so I'm just going to use a white one just because I think it looks better. I guess I could use the black one. I just thought the white one was going to look better with the colors I picked, but a black one fell out, so we're going to go with that. So the square one, the round ones is just a little bit smaller than the square ones. The square ones are kind of big. I'll show you the square ones. So the square ones, they're kind of big, and I thought they were just too big for the windmill, so I just wanted to use the little round ones. So now I'm going to take my U-pick tool, and I'm just going to kind of punch out that hole. That's the only thing that doesn't punch out, but that's okay. So now we've got our windmill. Let's get that. We've got our brad. We're going to stick that in there. All right, now you can put these down like, you want to kind of put them both down. Don't put them too tight though, because you want them a little bit loose so that your blades can sort of spin. Now, when you're putting it in on your card, you want to center it because you want to be able to put it in an envelope. So I laid it down and made sure that like the top of my blade went to the top of my card, and then it went from side to side. So I knew that if my card was closed, this would be okay. So I'm going to put some dimensionals just on this bottom portion here, just right there, because I want it to be able to pop up when we have that easel going. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 dimensionals right down there. Okay. And again, I'm just going to like make sure that it's sort of going to be in the right spot. Okay. That looks pretty good. All right. Then I've got, I wanted to stamp a sentiment on there. I think I was using the happy birthday one because I have quite a few birthdays coming up in the next couple of months. I'm just going to get this out. Bear with me. I got to get it on a block. And I'm going to stamp this in our petal pink. Okay. Okay, just making sure I'm not stamping it upside down. Hi, Deb. How are you? Okay. Now this we're also going to put on with dimensionals because that's what's going to create that stop for our easel. So you want it to be kind of raised up. So I'm just going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Okay. All right. All these covers. All right. Now I'm just going to kind of put this, I'm going to center this kind of right in the middle of this. And now, so we have that, and when it's closed, when it's mailing, it's like this, and then we open it, and there you've got your windmill with the blades that spin. Pop them up a little bit this way. So they spin. And then you've got that continuous field of flowers by putting that piece right there. It just kind of continues the look. So that's it. Those were our 2 cards for today. So I hope that you love them as much as I do. Sheila, if you don't have this set, I know you are going to want it because it is absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, that's it. Stay tuned this weekend again. Check out my website under events. I'll have the information up for the Creative Escape that I'm offering in March. All right, that's it. Everybody have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. You have it? Can't wait to see what you make with it, Sheila. Bye. Oh, Sheila, I got a Maker 3. I'm getting a Maker 3 for my birthday. I'm so excited. Bye, everybody.